You are getting a full EsTitties experience, baby. You are gonna laugh. You're gonna cry. You're gonna lick someone's nipples. You're gonna get some on your eye. You know, anything can happen. You never know. I give you the whole gamut.
Hello, hello, hello. I am Joey Nolfi with Entertainment Weekly. I am here today with the cast of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 15, and many drag names are supposed to be fun to say, but few feel as genuinely delightful to utter as this next queen's. I think we are in for a hilarious ride with this one on Season 15. Please welcome Miss Salina EsTitties.
Hi, baby. I'm Salina EsTitties.
That's it. We can just cut it now. I mean,
Period.
honestly, that's it.
And cut. Oh, uncut.
Ooh, yes.
Oh wait, is this a sexual? Like, can I?
Is this a sexual interview?
I mean, like how R-rated?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Oh, you can say whatever. We'll bleep it. Don't worry.
Fabulous.
Do not censor yourself. Now, I truly don't even know where to start with you, Salina. I had so much fun looking into your career and everything that you've done. So let's start with, and I normally don't like to ask the question of how did you get your drag name, because you answered that question so many times. But I think your name is too good to not get into that. So there's many layers to this name.
Okay, yes, it's like a 7-layer dip. You know what I mean? So get your Cheetos, baby, because we're about to dip into the sauce. So Salina Quintanilla, the queen, the reina, Yolanda. Then there's EsTitties, right? Because so I was like, when I first got my drag name, I was like, what do I want to be? Salina, because she's the queen. And then if I was a woman, I had really big fake titties. Mm-hmm. And I was like, Espanol, EsTitties, Spanish titties. And then I was like, oh wait, if I say it with the accent, EsTitties, it sounds like STDs. And at the time, I was doing a lot of YouTube and Instagram stuff, so I was like, she's going viral, bitch. Catch her. You can't get rid of these titties. Go get tested, STDs. And then I rebranded after the first time I auditioned, so I was like, let's just do the tits, period.
So 18 million different ways for the name.
It's up for interpretation.
Yes, we love a good analysis on Drag Race. That's what we're here for. You have an interesting backstory too. You have a BFA. So for drag, your career started after you tried your hand, I believe, at dancing and acting, right?
Well, okay, yes. So I moved to Hollywood when I was 17. I went to AMDA for musical theater, got my BFA. Mm-hmm. And then I was never a dancer. I never had to class like the good gay boys out there. So, my parents were poor and broke, so they had me playing Pop Warner football. Oof.
I saw a picture.
Yes.
You in a football uniform.
Yes. It was rough, girl. I was like the Nelly girl who didn't know what right and left was. It was bad, but I made my daddy proud. So then I wanted to be a dancer because that was the one thing in musical theater school that I was never really achieving at. So I was like, I did this professional dance program in Hollywood called Scholarship at Edge Performing Arts Center. Mm-hmm. And I did this year-long intensive dance training program, got a dance agent, and I was out in Hollywood auditioning as a male dancer, but every time I go to an audition, they're like, take off your shirt. And I got man titties. Oh, that's another thing. EsTitties, I got man boobs, as a boy. Look at them. This is real. So EsTitties, right? So they always were like, cut next. So I said, you know what, Hollywood? If you don't want me as a boy, you gonna get me as this monster.
Monster. Oh no, it is the most beautiful monster I've ever seen. Come on. So from there, I believe you also started to do a competition that Raven and Morgan hosted.
Jesus! Okay,
I did my research.
Inspector Gadget, baby. Yes. Okay, Carmen Sandiego. Listen. Yes, I did Project Drag at Mickey's nightclub. The world famous Mickey's. They have the world famous Showgirls, hosted by Raven and Morgan, and they have this competition called Project Drag, and the winner gets to be a showgirl. With all the Drag Race girls and the legends who haven't been on Drag Race, like Glen Allen and etc. Mm-hmm. And I auditioned. I had won a couple competitions at the Abbey, and then I did this competition, and baby, Raven and Morgan don't play, okay? Mm-hmm. So it was it was boot camp. And at the same time, they were also filming a reality show on YouTube for it. So I also got my first dippings into reality TV.
So she's experienced.
And untucked tees, And so it was really fun. Okay. So
what were you gonna say there?
I was producers trying to make fights happen, you know what I mean? I had a taste of that already there. And I ended up winning. And it was just such an honor to have Raven be my mentor and be the one looking out for me in that moment, you know? I don't wear ankle straps because of it anymore. She hated ankle straps on me, so I don't wear them. And you know, it felt good to know that she thought I was deserving of the title there. And as such a baby queen.
Was it hard not to be like, while you're on the set for season 15, like seeing Raven touch up Rue and be like, hey,
I wanted to be, well, we don't really communicate that much anymore, especially since she's like Rue's makeup artist now. But I was so bad, just hope, you know, I'll be on that stage and I see her in the distance looking at the camera monitor, and I'll be like, Raven, look at my makeup. And that's one thing, I'll give you a little insight tea. Rue really loved my makeup all season, which I'm not a makeup queen back at home. Like, I'm known for my comedy performance style, not for my makeup. So the fact that Rue thought I was the gaggiest girl, makeup girl, it felt really nice in front of Raven.
I mean, it looks good today too. I mean, it looks very nice.
It's okay.
I did also hear that your trajectory in drag was somewhat written in the stars by a podcast with RuPaul and Oprah. So can you take me back to that moment when you realized that drag was the route for you, inspired by that podcast?
Why do you know this?
I'm a journalist.
Wow. Yeah, actually, that's crazy. So I did Project Drag, right? And I won, and a lot of like my sisters and stuff were like, the Abbey, like where I was performing prior, wouldn't book me anymore because I went to Mickey's. It was just like this whole
drama.
thing. It was this whole thing. So I was just like, I'm not here for drama. I'm not here for this. Like, I'm like, I just want to perform and share my art. You know what I mean? So I kind of stopped doing drag at that point, and I joined the Gay Men's Chorus of Los Angeles, and they had me doing drag in the shows there. So I was like, why am I doing drag for free? So I left them, started working again as a drag queen, and then, you know, it was so expensive paying for costumes, I couldn't afford it. I was working at In-N-Out Burger at the time, flipping burgers for like 5 years, and I was just like, what am I doing? What's going on? I'm not dancing as a boy. I'm not succeeding in drag, it's too expensive. I'm flipping burgers till 4 in the morning, waking up and like sewing, like it's just a mess. So I'm like, what's the point of this? So I went home one time back in Stockton where my parents lived at the time, and it's really ghetto there, and I hate being there. So I was like, get me out of here. So like both sides of the West Coast, I just felt like, ugh. And I was on a Greyhound bus coming back to Hollywood, and I was listening to a podcast of RuPaul and Oprah, and Ru said something like, I can't remember the exact quote right now, but it was something along the lines like, I found my purpose with what I was doing in my life. And I'm 11 years sober. I got sober when I was 21 years old. So in that moment, I was looking out the window, I heard RuPaul said that, and I saw a shooting star fly across the sky over Hollywood. I know it sounds hella like cheesy, but it really happened. Nice. And I was like, maybe there's a purpose for me to do drag, and there's a reason I got sober at 21. And so I think the reason I got sober at 21, the reason drag is in my life, like those two things get to come together and be purposeful for me, and I get to find purpose in that. And so once I found purpose with drag is when I started excelling and owning it and living, and here we are on Drag Race.
Here we are. I do want to, I did see in researching you too, the post that you had about in November, which would have been 10 years, I think, of sobriety. And I mean, so you were celebrating that. That's great. Congratulations there. So why do you think it is important for you to share that progress and that milestone of having so many years of being sober, and how has that impacted your work as a nightlife performer doing it all sober?
Yeah, it's I love it because, you know, there's many kids out there, especially queer LGBTQ kids, who like living life is so hard, and like doing drugs is so easy, and it takes you out, and I don't have to deal with life. I don't have to deal with this and that, those thoughts. Like doing drugs and doing all this stuff feels good because I get to check out. And you know, no shade or anything to people who do drugs, like it's fun, but there's sometimes it goes off the deep end and you find you can't stop. And there's a lot of people who struggle with that, and for someone who did struggle with that at 21 years old, as a POC person in white West Hollywood, trying to make it as somebody, like always feeling less than and chubby and not good enough, like doing drugs was my solution. And until I couldn't stop and it started taking over my life, I was homeless with like all my belongings in a Bed Bath & Beyond shopping cart at one point in Hollywood. Like it was a mess. And there's kids out there who are in that same situation right now and don't know that there's a way out. So I found a way out. I found a solution, and there's hope for anyone out there who's struggling with addiction and alcohol abuse, because it's not easy, and it feels like that's the only way sometimes. So when I realized like, okay, there's kids struggling out there just like I was at 21, I'm 30 I'm 32 now, so like I need to share that message with the world and be like, look how fabulous life can be without that stuff. Because you see drag queens and you know, a lot of drag culture is known for like doing drugs and like drinking and getting drunk and being loud and boisterous, and that exists and that's amazing. But also like this exists as well, being sober and like being clear and centered. And baby, you know, sometimes in the nightlife scene, like I get tired easy because I am sober and I can't put up with the loud music for long nights, and my heels hurt because I'm not taking tequila shots, you know? So I know how to say, I had a great time, I'll see y'all tomorrow. I get to go home and go to bed sober and rest my head on the pillow sober.
It's a very powerful thing to be able to do that. And it also, I think, adds another layer to, we often hear that the funniest comedy sometimes comes from deep places of pain. So do you think that that's true, given the experience you've been through?
Yeah, you know, I know for me, like, being sober, I also get to deal a lot with, like, I can't turn to a drink or a drug when I'm feeling something. You know, when people have feelings, they're like, ugh, you know, so I can't do that. I don't have that luxury. So I have to confront my feelings and I have to figure out what I'm feeling. And that's not easy for people. And I've become really good at figuring out what I'm going through and then expressing that and being open and vulnerable with that. So because of that, I'm able to express that in a very comedic, funny way sometimes. And you know, and I like to entertain people and make people laugh and smile. So if I can make someone laugh and smile and then also relate to me at the same time, that's all I'm here to do is inspire the kids.
So what is a typical show of yours like then? I mean, obviously it's gonna be funny, but what are we getting in the whole Salina?
You are getting a full EsTitties experience, baby. You are gonna laugh, you're gonna cry, you're gonna you know, lick someone's nipples, you're gonna get some on your eye. You know, anything can happen. You never know. I give you the whole gamut. It's a literal theatrical experience when you come see me perform and do my thing.
That is quite a sell for a show. I mean, I want to attend that show.
I literally won Best Drag Show in Los Angeles last year.
With
my
that descriptor.
show, yeah.
That's wonderful. I love that for you. So you also have great satire videos on YouTube. I've watched a bunch of them. You have over 11,000 subscribers. We also have Sugar and Spice, though, digital content creators this season. So did you come in already aware of them, and was there like a digital video rivalry going on?
Not at all, no. You see, I started doing, my videos are way different. So I started doing parody videos on YouTube before TikTok ever existed. And I love Scary Movie. Like, the Wayans brothers are my dream directors to work for and work with. And I like want to do a movie with y'all someday. If y'all down, let's do it, baby. EsTitties already, Wayans brothers. I'm the Wayans sister, okay, let's go. This is like my dream. So that's where my inspiration comes from, these parody videos. And like, I always said, first and foremost, I'm an actress. So like, I live for that. So you know, I never heard of Sugar and Spice before, and apparently, like in the workroom, I was like, "Oh, y'all are from LA? I never seen y'all before."
Shade.
But you know, they hadn't performed in LA before. Right. What they do is completely different. And I try to do TikTok. When TikTok first came out, they hired me as one of their first creators, and they didn't know what the platform was gonna look like yet, and we didn't know either. So we were trying to all figure it out. And I realized this is a young person's game. It takes a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of editing to do TikToks. Like, it is not. I don't write them off as like, oh, they're just TikTok drag queens. Like, it takes so much work to be TikTokers, and it's such a skill and a talent.
Definitely.
And I definitely like applaud them, and they're the top in the TikTok game. So like, I'm not a hater.
No. And you do, though. You have screen credits. You were on Legends of the Hidden Temple. So please tell me everything. Like, how far did you make it? How difficult was it? And what's the wildest story that you have from that set? Because you did it in drag, right?
Yes, I did it in drag, baby. So listen, I'm an LA girl. I'm a Hollywood diva. I be working. I had agents. I've had managers. I'm not new to the game. I've been in this before, okay? So I've done TV and film many times, commercials, billboards, national campaigns. So I was on Legends of the Hidden Temple because me and my best friend, so I auditioned for Drag Race 5 times. And while we were waiting for the call for this season, me and my best friend were like, let's like a show together. And we had the option of doing Wipeout, we had the option of doing Legends of the Hidden Temple, or Supermarket Sweep. All three wanted me, and because
of course.
Yeah, wow. So I had to make a decision, which little reality TV competition show do I want to do with my best friend? And I looked at them and I said, which one is the most like Drag Race? And Legends of the Hidden Temple had confessionals. So I was like, let's do the confessionals so I can practice confessionals for Drag Race, you know?
So smart.
And then, so I did that in drag, and I sold the confessionals. I mean, it's Legend of the Hidden Temple. There's no fan favorites. No one cares about it. But I sold that shit. And I was in the moat swimming, girl. My eyelashes were in the water, and like I was serving, and the host could not handle me. And the competitors next to me, like these two white bitches, they were so mad that I was stealing their camera time. And it's their dream to be on Legends of the Hidden Temple. And I was like, girl, this is practice for me, okay? And they're over here crying, trying to win the Olmec Temple.
That was their only. That was their only opportunity. This is you have.
And then I think they won that episode too. So congrats.
You're winning in
Purple
life.
Parrots.
Purple Parrots. Did the drag hold up in the moat?
Yes, I'm a professional. She's stamped.
We might have to look at photographic evidence to see if you're telling the truth.
Go for it.
So the last thing I want to ask you, you were also in a scene on AJ and the Queen?
Oh, yes!
So tell me about filming that and seeing RuPaul in her element on set, what that was like.
I'm gagged. Yes, I forget about that. So I'm, you know, before today, before being a Drag Race girl, I'm just the local LA diva trying to make it in this world. And I got cast as a drag extra on AJ and the Queen, the first episode. It was an episode where RuPaul is walking into the dressing room and there's all the Drag Race girls getting ready. Yeah. I was one of the background drag queens in there. And it was so funny because I was actually where RuPaul's entrance was. Every time we'd start the scene over, I was standing behind RuPaul because I enter after her. Yeah. So I would be next to her, and RuPaul, you know, she doesn't do good with lines when she has to remember them. When they're in her ear, she could say them, but when she has to, you know, remember her lines, it's hard. And she had a whole monologue and she's getting out of drag the whole time. It was a lot for her. And that is like, how old is she? Let's not play with Miss Mama Ru, okay? So she would go over her lines, and she's waiting back behind the wing, and I'm right there next to her, and she's going over her lines, and she's like, and she forgot her line. She's like, what the is that line? And I was like, oh, it's this. And she goes, thank you, girl. And I was like, da, 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 da. And then she looked at me and she goes, da, 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 da. And I was like, little dude, you know. What is it, 4 years later, 3 years later, here we are.
Oh my God.
And she's telling me I have the best makeup, you know what I mean?
Full circle, you helped RuPaul with her line, and look at where you are now. I love that story so much, and I've loved chatting with you. Thank you so much for being here with me.
Oh my God!
Yes, I know, it feels like 5 minutes. We've been talking for so long. I really appreciate your time. It was really a lot of fun.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and stay tuned for more with the cast of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 15.